Hello everyone, this is Commissar Craig, and I'm going to be presenting you today Great Britain on Call of War 1942's historical World War II scenarios. Um, Great Britain is a country that has many strengths and is a challenge to play because it does have some weaknesses. Its biggest weakness is how far spread out the empire is over the globe, and how are you going to defend it, especially from multiple players that want to take these provinces and resources from you. So to start off, we have our core province of Great Britain. Our opening moves, what we're going to want to do is gather our fleet outside of Belgium and the Netherlands and have them in position to provide fire support for our land forces that are going to come in and take those countries. And to do this, we're going to want to move in our two fleets that are stationed here at the beginning of the game in southern England. Move them over here. We're going to take all of our land forces, gather them up, send them down in here. And if we are lucky, the German or the French player are going to be slow, and we can even take Bastogne. But usually any good players will have that taken already. Worst case scenario, we only get bits of Netherlands or Belgium because the German and the French player take the majority of it. We're also going to move this fleet down that was starting the game up here in Scapa Flow, a famous World War I battle and gunnery range for the British fleet. And we're going to move that fleet down. And Germany, they will attack Denmark. And if Germany is too slow, maybe you could take Denmark yourself. But in the case they do take Denmark, we can move up here and take Iceland and Greenland, which are also in Denmark's possession. Coming down here, we've also detailed some forces, 2 infantries and a tank, to take Ireland, which will be easy. We don't need to use our naval forces. We could just do that with our air forces. Take out any resistance there and have an easy landing for our troops. All right, let's move around the world and see the rest of the empire. We have over here St. John's. Canada may take it. Probably not a big deal if you lose it, not worth much. Coming down here in the Caribbean, you'll notice you had a fleet starting out outside of Jamaica, which you want to move into position over here by Haiti. You're going to want to use this fleet of 2 cruisers and 2 destroyers to bombard the land forces in preparation for your land forces coming from Great Britain, which I've detailed 1 infantry and 1 artillery, to go in and take these island nations after their meager troops have been destroyed by my mighty fleet. Then you're going to want to move on to Dominican Republic right here, and if you're lucky, you can take Cuba before America gets it. Coming down here, you'll see your South American possessions. Not defensible at this point of the game. They don't offer anything for resources. They only are victory points. So might as well ignore those. Doesn't matter if you lose them. Also coming down here further in South America, you'll notice the Falkland Islands, famous for a war in the 1980s with Argentina. And you have 1 destroyer unit that will serve there to deter the Argentinian player from taking those provinces, but if they really want them, they can take them. Coming up here to the Mediterranean, we have a fleet that started outside of Gibraltar. It was a submarine, a cruiser, and a destroyer. I left the submarine to control the strategic straits. I have no manpower there, And once again, the Gibraltar produces no resources, only victory points, so we can let Spain have that if they want to attack. I am moving the fleet down the coast of West Africa here to Liberia, which, once again, just like in the Caribbean, we're going to use the naval forces to bombard any troops on shore. So my weak militia unit can walk in there, this lone militia, and take these Liberian provinces. Coming back over here to the Mediterranean, you'll start out with another fleet at Valletta. Once again, you're going to want to move that. You have no land forces, and Valletta isn't worth much. So I'm going to move that fleet over here to the Middle East and have them support my troops in the Holy Land. My 3 units, infantry, or no, two militias and an anti-tank. It's not worth trying to attack Saudi Arabia or Iraq because let's say you do take a bunch of those provinces, you're going to lose your 3 units, and then France, Turkey, or Persia can just come in and take everything that you fought for. So it's best to turtle and dig in. You'll also notice with this fleet from Valletta, I've split off the submarine and I can have them block the strategic straits here over by Istanbul and the Dardanelles into the Black Sea, or I could detail that submarine unit over here to the Suez Canal. Turkey's against me on this map, so I decided to move them over here. You'll notice the fleet that was originally stationed over here by Nicosia in the Middle East, I've split that into 2. I'm going to have one segment that is going to be bombarding Yemen, and so my weak militia force can go in and unopposed take those 4 Yemen provinces. The other portion of this fleet that I broke up is going to come all the way around and start bombing Oman. And I have my militia unit from Qatar, Doha, that is going to sweep back in here and take all of these provinces after my navy has wiped out any resistance. The navy is key to Great Britain's survival um, and ability to last in this game. When I'm finished taking these provinces, I may actually bring my militia units back to where they were originally stationed to protect Sudan and Doha for their oil production. Coming back to Africa here, we have Central Africa owned by Belgium, which I'm going to move in 2 armored cars to swiftly take out. It's got a lot of great resources, as you can see with this first recon car. I have an attack pattern set up to take all those resource provinces. I also have a militia unit that's going to come in the side to take out these hills and mountains. My other recon car is going to skirt along the border with French territory to deny the French player access to these provinces, because likely the French player is also going to be trying to attack Belgium. And we want all these provinces to ourselves. Once Belgium, Central Africa is taken, we're going to want to amass our forces, and if not attacked by France or Italy, then we will move on either to South Africa or to take out Portugal's holdings. All right, continuing on, we will head on over to Asia. We started with a fleet at Sri Lanka of a cruiser and a destroyer. We're going to meet them up over here at Bangkok, Thailand with another small fleet of a cruiser and a destroyer that came from Burma. These 2 naval units will be shelling Bangkok as our infantry moves up to take up Bangkok. And also we have this armored car here that's going to be taking the rest of Thailand. And we're in a race against France to take Thailand. I'm leaving my militia in Rangoon. I had some commandos stationed in Mandalay. We're going to do a quick action over here into Bhutan, take those 2 provinces. Once those provinces are taken, we're going to move those commandos back to Mandalay and to dig in there. Now, the Netherlands, another country that we are attacking, or Germany will, over by our core provinces, they also have Asian holdings, the Dutch East Indies. We're going to be moving in there. They're relatively undefended. As Singapore, our main province in Southeast Asia, produces units, we're going to funnel them into the Dutch East Indies, taking over all these orange territories as much as we can. We're going to be competing against Japan and Australia. Once we get the Dutch East Indies, that pretty much finishes the game here in Southeast Asia for Great Britain. Here you're going to want to actually start building fortifications, which you don't really want to use much in the game because they take a lot of resources to build. We're going to want to fortify our holdings and hold out and see how the game develops. We also have a holding up here in Hong Kong with a great fleet protecting it, a mighty fleet. We're just going to want to build out the production of Hong Kong and some fortifications too and some infantry. I'm going to leave that fleet in position. Coming out here through the rest of Asia, you'll notice that we have a bunch of islands over in the South Pacific, like Tarawa. When we're producing 42 cash and 9 manpower, it doesn't really matter if we hold on to those. Australia will probably take them. All right. I think I forgot to mention Belize over here in Central America, but we'll probably lose that to Mexico. All right, heading back to our core provinces. I just wanted to go over some other things that we want to talk about when it comes to Great Britain's production. Let's open up the province menu, and you'll notice that the majority of units I'm producing are armored units because Great Britain starts out with, on their tech tree, strong armor, light tanks, and also a strong navy, of course. But the main reason why I'm producing armor is because look at the manpower up here. Very bad. Great Britain is one of the worst manpower rates in the game. So, on the other hand, they have great technology and can produce a lot of steel and a lot of goods. So, we're going to focus on armor production and not as much on infantry because we don't want to run out of manpower. Because our industry is going to be producing a lot of resources, but if we have a lot of resources and no manpower, no units get produced. Alright, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave any comments. I'm also going to be doing videos for all the other major factions. We're also going to come back and see how this scenario develops. These are some easy opening strategic moves that you want to make. If you are playing this scenario with a partner, it would be best if your partner was France, because not only historically did England and France work together in World War II to defeat Germany, but it makes sense on this map too strategy-wise. Because if France and England can control Belgium and the Netherlands, that's a way England can link up with France and the Maginot Line in these series of fortifications to deter Germany from attacking west, because Germany is the strongest country in this game, and we want the German player to see what forces we have arrayed against him and instead choose to attack east or to attack north in the Scandinavia. So, not to mention France has a pretty strong fleet itself. So between the French fleet and the British fleet, you could effectively blockade Germany and remove all naval options and keep them a land-based power. All right, I had fun, and hope you're having fun with this game, and check in with me later.